Loving Sai Ram and greetings from Prashanti Nilayam. Swami often tells us, "You are God, I too am God." But the difference is that whereas I know I am God, you do not. That, in brief, is the technical difference, if I may say so, between the Jivatma, which is the unrealized soul trapped in a shroud made up of the gross body and the subtle mind, and the avatar, who is nothing but the formless God, specially donning a body for the purpose of uplifting human beings to the level of the divine. Where Shirdi Baba is concerned, the avatar seems to have been less forthcoming about his divine nature. On this subject, it is interesting to note what Hemat Pant says, and I quote, "Although an avatar himself, Baba followed the conventional code of conduct completely and advocated a scrupulous adherence to the rules laid down by the Varnas and the Ashramas. We may regard him as an avatar because he has all those characteristics. As for himself, he always said, 'I am a slave in Allah's service.' He never claimed, 'I am God.' Instead, he always said, 'I am his poor slave.' And he constantly chanted, 'Allah Malik,' meaning that God is the master." End of quote. This business of claiming that he was a mere servant of God was one of the many ways in which Shirdi Baba spun the web of Maya or delusion, challenging devotees to peel it with their dedication and devotion. This is illustrated by the experience of a certain seeker who had spent years delving into sage Patanjali's masterpiece on yoga. In spite of this, the seeker could not experience the final and blissful state of samadhi that comes as the culmination of yogic practices. He was directed to consult Baba, and thus it was that the seeker came to Shirdi. He entered the mosque with great hopes that Baba would tell him what precisely he must do in order to achieve that elusive samadhi state. As he entered, he saw Baba eating bakri, or millet bread with dry onion. Now, the one who seeks to tread the path of yoga as prescribed by Patanjali has to observe strict regulations. And seeing Baba eating stale bakri together with dry onion gave this man a big shock. He thought to himself, "Have I come to the wrong place? How can this man eating impure stuff clear my doubts on yoga?" He, of course, did not give expression to his thoughts, but then, being omniscient and the indweller of all, Baba instantly knew what was going on in the mind of this newcomer. Turning to Nana Chandorkar, who was by his side, Baba wryly said, "Nana, only those who can digest onion must eat onion, not others." It might have seemed like a casual remark connected with eating habits, but the seeker knew what exactly it meant and to whom it was addressed. He realized that a seeker cannot seek guidance if he lacked humility. By doubting the credentials of one whose guidance he wanted, he had proved he was not yet ready for the ultimate lesson in yoga. The seeker then felt deep remorse and surrendered himself totally at Baba's feet. And that was when Baba cleared all the doubts of the seeker. In my last talk, I narrated many snake stories, including one wherein Shama was specially sent by Baba along with a person named Mirikar to save the latter from snake bite. Listen now to a story where Shama himself gets bitten by a snake and how Baba dealt with that situation. It so happened that one evening Shama was bitten by a snake. Snake bites were quite common in those days since houses were few and vegetation was often dense in the neighborhood of houses. As a result of the bite, Shama not only felt extreme pain, but his life itself seemed in danger. Since according to folklore, Lord Shiva once swallowed poison to save the Devas and the Asuras, the local custom was to immediately rush the person bitten to the Shiva temple, where Shiva was known as Viroba. There in the temple, the relatives would pray that the life of the victim be spared. In keeping with this custom, people who were with Shama at that time wanted him immediately rushed to the Viroba temple. Shama's uncle then came forward, gave Shama a bit of Baba's sacred ash or udi, and asked him to rush to the mosque and fall at Baba's feet. Taking the advice, Shama made haste towards the mosque, and as he was about to step inside, he heard the thundering voice of Baba saying, "Do not climb the steps and come inside. If you dare to climb the steps and come inside, you will meet a terrible fate. Climb down and get out this very minute." Baba was really furious, and this frightened everyone, including poor Shama, who had come there with great hopes. One could say that for a moment he even forgot the snake bite and the actual acute pain it was causing him. Baba's words hurt him even more. And why on earth was Baba shouting at him? What had he done so bad to deserve this treatment, especially at a moment like this? Well, this is often the way Baba did things and tested his devotees. Poor Shama's heart sank and he simply collapsed on the ground. Slowly dragging himself up and picking courage, he crawled up to Baba and said softly, "Baba, you are like mother to me, and I feel I am your child. Why are you so angry with me? Have I done anything wrong to displease you so much?" By this time, Baba had calmed down and said, "Do not lose courage and have no worry. All will be well. This fakir is compassionate and he would certainly protect you. Of that, have no doubt. Now go home and take rest. Do not get out of the house. Be brave." Shama felt reassured and returned home. Hardly had he returned when he found Sathya knocking on the door. He opened the door and there was Sathya with a special message from Baba. Baba's instruction was, Shama should not fall asleep at all. To prevent going to sleep, he must keep walking to and fro in the house non-stop. He could eat anything, but fall asleep he must not. Baba sent the same instructions through many others. He wanted to ensure that Shama under no circumstances will fall asleep, though he might feel very drowsy. Shama followed Baba's instructions. It was a difficult night, but he remained alive. Next morning, all the pain had disappeared. Okay, all this is fine, but why on earth did Baba first shout at poor Shama and then become so considerate to him? This is where one sees the Leela of Shirdi Baba. What was it that people actually saw? People saw Baba shouting and saying things like, "Get out, climb down or you're in trouble," and so on. Hearing all this, everyone automatically assumed that Baba was yelling at Shama. But that was not actually the case. On the contrary, Baba was addressing all his remarks to the poison that had entered Shama's body. This became known only later. Now one might ask, why did not Baba treat Shama with some of his sacred udi, for example, and save the poor victim of snake bite the way many holy men sometimes did? Now who is to answer this question? No one can. The only thing one can say for sure is that the avatar will act in the most unexpected and inexplicable manner. Sometimes, as in the above case, the reasons become clear later, but at other times, they remain a mystery forever. Listen now to the amazing story of Baba, a Brahmin and a goat. A crazy combination? Yes, indeed it is, but behind that lies a great story and a profound lesson. It all started with someone bringing to Shirdi Baba an old he-goat that was just about to die. Everyone present was watching keenly to see what Baba would do. Standing then in Baba's presence was a Muslim devotee known popularly as Bade Baba. His actual name was Pir Muhammad Yasin Mian. As a wanderer, he first came to Shirdi in 1909. Baba asked him to stay in the Chawdi and read the Quran. Later, this Bade Baba moved to the neighboring village of Neemgaon. From there, he would come every morning to Shirdi and be at the mosque till noontime. He would then return to Neemgaon. Baba was very fond of this Pir Muhammad Yasin Mian. Every day at meal time, all would assemble and wait for Baba to start eating first. Yasin Mian too would be there, but some distance away from Baba. After some moments, Baba would gently call out, "Bade Mian." Bade Baba would then quickly come up the steps and offer his obeisance to Shirdi Baba. Baba would then ask Bade Mian to take his seat and join him in the meal. Why this ritual every day? Because Baba wanted to give a practical demonstration of how guests must be treated with respect and offered a meal. The Vedas no doubt proclaim Atiti Devo Bhava, meaning revere the guest as God. That's what the book says, but in practice, it was to emphasize the practical importance of that Vedic teaching that Shirdi Baba went through this routine day after day for many years. Let's get back to the story of the goat. Baba said to Yasin Mian, "Offer this goat in sacrifice and kill him with just one stroke." Yasin Mian was shocked and asked, "But Baba, how can I kill this poor goat without any valid reason?" Baba looked at Mian as if to say, "Oh, so you want a reason, do you?" He then turned towards Madhavrao Deshpande and said, "Oh, you there, Shama, go and get a knife to kill this goat. Go now quickly." Shama was taken aback. He was a peaceful fellow and he was now being asked to get a knife to kill a poor goat. Well, orders are orders. He would get a knife and obey Baba. But killing the goat, that was a different matter. Thinking thus, Shama went to the house of Radha Krishna Bai and borrowed from her the biggest knife she had. He then brought the knife and respectfully placed the knife before Baba. Everyone was wondering what would happen next. Meanwhile, Radha Krishna Bai learned that her knife was going to be used to kill a goat. Shocked, she ran full speed to the mosque and took back her knife before any slaughtering could be done. So, it was back to square one, and Baba again asked Shama to get a knife. This time, Shama did not get a knife. Instead, he went to the Vada and hid himself there until the whole drama was over. He simply did not want to have anything to do with slaughtering a goat. When Shama did not show up even after a while, Baba asked Kaka Dikshit to go get a knife to slaughter the goat. "Kill him so that he may be relieved of his pain," Baba said to Kaka. At this point, I must quote Hemant Pant to give you an idea of what a remarkable devotee Kaka Dikshit was. Hemant Pant says, "Dikshit was pure, unalloyed a sense of goodness. In courage and determination, he was the proverbial mountain Mahameru. He did not entertain even for a moment any doubt as to how he can kill the goat. That an innocent he-goat would die, his soul would be in agony of pain, that his own pure good reputation will be tainted as he will be committing a great sin. Such a thought never crossed the mind of Kaka Dikshit. Disobeying the command was to him the greatest sin, and obeying it at once and in every possible way the greatest merit." End of quote. All eyes were now focused on Kaka, and it was a moment of high drama. I think I had better let Hemant Pant capture for you those tense moments. Quote, "Tucking in the end of his dhoti with one hand and gathering up the weapon with the other, Kaka rolled up his sleeves as he approached the spot where the goat was. The villagers were quite astonished. What is this extraordinary spectacle? Where has the tenderness of Kaka disappeared? A Muslim and a non-vegetarian like Fakir Baba would not lift a weapon on a poor tormented goat, but Kaka here is ready to do it." Then, clutching the knife tightly in one hand, which was raised high to strike, Kaka asked, "So Baba, must I strike him? Tell me just this once." Baba replied, "Kill it now. What are you waiting for?" As this final ultimate order came, Kaka turned half a circle in a bid to strike hard. Suddenly Baba said, No, Kaka, turn back. How heartless you are. A Brahmin and you still want to kill? Is there no consideration in your heart?" No sooner he heard this, Kaka at once dropped the knife. Old and young were all astonished. The goat had received the gift of life, and devotion to the Guru had reached its culmination. End of quote. So there it was, a severe test. The goat whose life had been spared was then removed to another spot where it soon died a natural death. Getting back to Baba's strange command, obviously Baba was not going to make Kaka, a pious Brahmin, slaughter a poor goat. But he wanted to show to the world what a great devotee Kaka was. Kaka was ready to abandon all his cherished principles of ahimsa and was ready to do anything for his divine master, even if it meant slaughtering. Avatars sometimes do this sort of thing. They put their great devotees through a terrible time, while lesser devotees do not face such problems. Is this not blatantly unfair? Not really. Avatars use staunch devotees to set a great examples to ordinary mortals. Incidentally, this incident also calls to mind a famous sloka in the Gita, in the 18th chapter to be more precise, where Krishna says, "Take total refuge in me and surrender to me unconditionally. Also, offer lovingly all your actions to me. I shall then absolve you of all sins." In this case, under normal circumstances, if Kaka had slaughtered the goat, it would have been a violation of his code of righteous conduct, or to put it simply, his dharma, as ordained in the scriptures. However, when the command came from God himself, Kaka did not worry. If God wanted Kaka to do something, who is he to question whether it's righteous or not? He had surrendered totally to Baba and therefore had taken the ultimate insurance in the spirit of the Gita, if one might say so. Through this bizarre incident, Baba had actually made this particular stanza in the Gita come alive. I would like to add a few more comments relating to this aspect, if I may. You see, God is eternal and man can always surrender to God totally. But when God walks the earth as an avatar, things become special because God can then talk to man and give man many opportunities to listen to God and follow the word of God. That is where this business of surrendering to God and following God's advice to the letter becomes very important. I know of a boy who was a student here many years ago. This boy liked to ride motorcycles and drive fast, which is obviously not a good thing. When the boy left the institute after completing his studies, Swami told the boy, "Be careful, avoid motorbikes." Not only that, Swami sent for the father of this boy and told him, "Don't allow your son to ride motorbikes." But the boy did not take Swami's advice and soon met with a fatal accident. The father wailed in agony, but Swami said, "Look, I warned you, but you did not do anything to stop your son." Actually, I know of many people who have not taken Swami's advice and met with driving accidents, some of them fatal, and some of them leading to bad injuries. Let alone surrender and things like that. One must start by obeying the simple commands of Swami. After all, why does he give us such advice? Is it not for our own good? If, as we say, we love him and all that, then why do we not pay attention to his advice, which he gives for our own good? It is not that every day man gets direct verbal advice from God, and yet how often we devalue it by ignoring it. How many people have had the good luck of getting direct advice from Bhagavan Baba? I think we should spend some time thinking about such matters. God does not come down with a human form every other day. But when he does so, his life on earth is a mixture of leelas and advice. We all want to hear about the leelas part because stories of the Lord are always nice to hear. At the same time, we must pay equal if not greater attention to the teachings of the avatar. In the Gita, the Lord says that every time he comes down, he teaches the same lesson. But man always forgets quickly. And that is why God has to come down again and again, like a teacher who is trying to get some basics into the head of a dunce. Is man really a dunce when he can go to the moon and even the stars? Not really. Man is very intelligent, but he is also a slave of the senses. That is what makes him indifferent to the teachings of the Lord. No, we must not show disrespect to the Lord who takes so much trouble to come down to hold our hands. And the best way of showing respect is to pay careful attention to his teachings and make every effort to follow them. We in Radio Sai are primarily engaged in drawing the attention of the world to the import of the teachings of the Lord. And as a part of that exercise, I am broadcasting this series on Swami's earlier appearance in Shirdi so that we may appreciate that the message is always the same, though the settings are different. Thank you for listening. Jai Sai Ram.
असे राहिला व्यापुनी मोह चित्ता मला यातुनी सोडवी साईनाथा मला यातुनी सोडवी साईनाथा
शिवाच्या भय काम जो का पळाला छळाया आम्हा वाटते येत आला
शिवाच्या भये काम जो का पळाला छळाया आम्हा वाटते येत आला
पिनाकी परी होनी तू समर्था मला यातुनी सोडवी साईनाथा मला यातुनी सोडवी
दुराशा मज नाचवी ठाई ठाई म्हणूनी मना स्थिरता होत नाही
दुराशा मज नाचवी ठाई ठाई म्हणूनी मला स्थिरता होत नाही
तुझे पाय त्याते सदुपाय आता मला यातुनी सोडवी साईनाथा मला यातुनी सोडवी साईनाथा
भवाचे मला प्रेम ते फार लोटे जसा गर्द भाकेर तो गोड वाटे
भवाचे मला प्रेम ते फार लोटे जसा गर्द भाकेर तो गोड वाटे
बुडालो भवी शीघ्र देऊनी हाता मला यातुनी सोडवी साईनाथा मला यातुनी सोडवी साईनाथा
क्षमा शांतीचे भातुके दे दिनासी जसे नेण त्याले करामाय पोशी
क्षमा शांतीचे भातुके दे दिनासी जसे नेण त्याले करामाय पोशी
नीतीची घुटी पाजवी हे समर्था नमस्कार माझा तुला साईनाथा नमस्कार माझा तुला साईनाथा
सदा सर्वदा चित्त सानंद ठेवी कदा वासनेच्या नपाशात गोवी
सदा सर्वदा चित्त सानंद ठेवी कदा वासनेच्या नपाशात गोवी
जगिया मुते तू पिता माय त्राता नमस्कार माझा तुला साईनाथा नमस्कार माझा तुला साईनाथा
कशा माजिते हित माझे कळेना कळे जे मना तेच तेच त्यासी वळेना.
कशा माझी ते हित माझे कळेना, कळे जे मना तेच त्यासी वळेना.
असा जाहलो त्राही त्राही समर्था, नमस्कार माझा तुला साईनाथा.
तुला योग्य वाटेल ते त्वा करावे, शिशूने पित्याला कसे शिकवावे.
तुला योग्य वाटेल ते त्वा करावे, शिशूने पित्याला कसे शिकवावे. गणूची सदा वाही चित्तात चिंता, नमस्कार माझा तुला साईनाथा. नमस्कार